what our vocational service department does. So vocational service at Rotary District 3190 is also the same department which serves the community through various avenues, what you see on the screen, like integrity and ethics, career guidance and counseling, skill development, entrepreneurship and micro enterprises, vocational training teams, Rotary action groups, and of course, vocational diversity and awards. This is very useful for Rotarians for business development and professional advancement. We have a lot of friends of Rotary today who have joined here today at our request. We welcome you to join Rotary and be a part of this team. We call ourselves People of Action. A special welcome to all the guest clubs, 10 guest clubs joining here today. And of course, a warm welcome to our speaker, Mr. Shashidhara, and our chief guest today, past President Rotarian Suresh. With that small introduction, I would now let our water warrior, Rotarian Sridhar, introduce the speaker for the day. Thank you.
Thank you, President Manoj. Welcome, colleague Rotarians, ladies and gentlemen, and guests. As a water warrior in Rotary Bangalore Whitefield Central, and inviting Mr. Shashidhara Kumaraswamy, who has done tremendous amount of work in the area of conservation of water. Mr. Shashidhara Kumaraswamy is a technology and sustainability expert with over 20 years of technology and entrepreneurial experience in multiple areas, including mobile tech, solar energy, sustainable water solutions, and social impact. He is the founder and director of sustainable solutions provider, Everything Eco Enviro Solutions Private Limited, which focuses primarily on water conservation and agri-technology space. These two, as all of us are aware, are going to become more critical as we move on. Everything Eco has worked with major hospitals, malls, schools, and communities, and they have tremendous achievement of having helped save more than 1 billion liters of water. I'm repeating, billion liters of water over the past 5 years. With the Water Warrior programs in 5 schools, they have also motivated and nurtured young school children on water conservation practices. Also taught them how to conduct water audit and ensure that they implement water conservation in the respective schools. In fact, Mr. Shashidhar's company, Everything Eco, was selected as one of the Indian SMEs in 2020 for Residential Air Quality Assessment Project, an initiative by Catapult UK. He is a member of the American Waterworks Association and is actually involved in urban water planning and multiple technologies to solve water conservation by rainwater harvesting and also reducing wastage at distribution level. Before this, he also founded the renewable energy startup Blu-ray Solar and developed affordable solar solutions both for rural and urban homes. He also initiated Solar for Schools program to educate and engage children in rural schools and also ensure there are hands-on experiments in renewable energy. Prior to this, he was heading the solar technology group at Simpa Networks and enabled rural electrification of 40,000 homes with solar power with smart financing. He also serves as a board of director at Murata Business Engineering, a subsidiary of Murata Japan, who are leading manufacturers of electronic components. Mr. Shashidhar holds an MS in Computer Science from California State University in Sacramento and a Bachelor of Engineering and Mechanical Engineering from National Institute of Engineering, Mysore. Mr. Shashidhar, it gives me immense pleasure to invite you, and we want to learn from you. And over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sridhar and Manoj, for this warm welcome and introduction. It's a great pleasure to be here today and great pleasure to talk to all the Rotarians who are doing great work and wonderful impact in community space. So thank you, Smita, and all of you. Just to begin with, let me just share my screen. Manoj, can you? Okay. I'm trying to share the screen, but it says only host all participants.
I think you can share now. Can you check? Can you check now?
Yeah, let me just see. It says, it gives me, when I click on the share screen, it gives me an option that, okay, now I can. Okay, perfect. Okay. Okay, let me just go over what we do and how we we would like to work on water conservation as a community, right? So first and foremost, that we all understand water is the most critical part of our life, everyday life, and we all know that every drop counts. But most of us are not aware of where this drop is coming or where it is going. I think that's where we started our company, Everything Eco, to say, where and how we can reduce our losses and conserve what we get from sky. So the first and the foremost thing that I would like to talk to most of the members here is, how many of us have ever questioned this thing? What is my water footprint? We all talk about carbon footprint. We talk about environmental footprint, issues with energy and everything, but hardly anybody talks about water footprint. And then that particularly is about your daily consumption of water based on activities. So this is one of the most important parts of our question that we ask all our clients as well as also friends and family. What is your consumption? What is your footprint? And then many people also question, why do I need to know, right? I think we have an answer for that next. Because as a community, as society, we started our living next to rivers, because as a social gatherings, all our residential activities were near rivers, because we never had to worry about water footprint. Rivers were flowing fresh, and then we would use only the amount of water that's required in a daily life. Then slowly, as civilization improved, people started moving inwards, and we started having wells, right? And bore wells, regular wells. Still, the footprint was not a major issue, because you would only carry the amount of water that you can, right? Even in many villages, water footprint is not a major concern. But the next, we started looking at storing the water, right? This is where it comes important part of a shift, where once we store a lot of water for consumption over multiple days, we lose fact that what is our footprint? How much water are we using every single day for what activities, right? So this is a very classic picture I share in all my presentations. The two pictures that you see here is 300 meters apart, taken in Bangalore, out of Bangalore in HSR layout. A person washing cars, streets, everything is 36 liters a minute flow that they use the pipe hose, and then does this every day, at least half an hour to an hour. And the kid on the right side takes a small, bucket of water, and two of these, he carries 5 floors and lives on it for an entire day, that family. So, you can just see the contrast, how much water that we use on a lot of activities versus people who are living on just, a minute of water that's wasted out there in the street. So knowing your footprint is very, very important from this picture, you can understand. And of course, we have seen a lot of times, this is a crisis every year come May that we have. This year also we would hit, but I think because of Corona, this news is not making to the top of the list. But most of the years we see this by May and June. all over Bangalore and Karnataka and all over the country. And I would like to say also that because of the COVID impact, that people are also using a lot of water now, right? I mean, we have to wash our hands and everything, so we got to be more conscious about how we consume our water. This is an actual picture of India, where we have 54% of India, which is facing high to extreme high water stress right now. So this scenario is not going to change, over future years, unless we take action to conserve and protect our water resources, as well as bring down our footprint. So next, I would like to move to the next one. So what is the usage pattern, right? Water usage pattern, right? How do we, how do we use our water daily? This is a, clear indication of where our water is used on a personal basis. I'm not talking about industrial, although we have worked a lot with all commercial buildings. We have actually worked with every single mall in Bangalore, all hospitals across the country. The patterns are different in each one of them, but I'm only talking residential right now here. So the flushing is a 30%, personal washing and taps is 21%, and showers is a 12%. So as you can see, this is a major chunk of our water usage in a daily basis on our personal level. When it comes to commercial, it is different. Like in hospitals, we have seen kitchen and dialysis centers actually consume a lot of water. And apparently the showers are not the major consumption of water at all in hospitals. So depending on each one, we have to do an intervention. That's what we have done over the last 5 years. And one thing I want to highlight here is the last point in the list is a drinking. That's the primary source of what is critical, like cooking and drinking is what we require to live on this planet Earth. Everything else that you see is basically you're cleaning up and then the water is going back into drains. So we have to make our effort to conserve. So without any interventions, typical day that we see, we have a lot of water that gets wasted out in these formats. For example, brushing and wash basin usage is at least 10 minutes is 120 liters of water, and showers 180 liters of water. And similarly, flush lines 6 times in an eco-friendly flush, it's 96 liters. Washing dishes is 12 liters per tap, is 240 liters, because typically most of the time the taps are running, they're not stopped between wash. Cloths, of course, if you use buckets, you're talking about 64 liters of water. Mopping is again 32 liters of water. But last two are again, I want to highlight, is 12 liters for cooking and 3 liters for drinking. I mean, this is a fundamental need that we, fresh water that we use for our living on this planet Earth. But the rest, everything else is basically a transient use for a short duration. And then, 90 to 95% of the water goes down to the drain. So this is very efficient, 747 liters. Even we have seen homes that consume more than 2,500 liters of water in our measurements across our clients. And of course, we have not considered, as you can see below, car wash, front guard, gardening, all of that, and the list keeps going on. So now, what can we do? What is the interventions we can do, right? I mean, how do we get to a point to save? So simple interventions we talk about in a residential settings is, your wash basins can have aerators, which are basically water-saving devices. It can range from half a liter to 3 liters, depending on mist type washing versus spray type. People have felt very comfortable with 3 liters aerators in all the taps. Just by using that, you just consume 30 liters of water. Similarly, for showers, we recommend restrictors, which will bring down the consumption significantly. And if you change your habits, if you don't want to install anything on your showers and you want to change your habit, you can always do that with bucket, because bucket showers is considered to be the most efficient, 16 liters. Flush lines, we recommend STP, reuse of the water, if you're in a community which has STP. Then, of course, the wastage is almost zero. Similarly for dishwashing. So using tap aerators, restrictors will always help you reduce the water flow. and 20 minutes will bring down to 120 liters only wasted. Clothes, washing clothes, again, if you use buckets, 2 buckets, reduce it as much as possible. Washing and then the rinsing in 2 buckets, you can help reduce. And lastly, also mopping, right? You could use one of the smaller quick mop available in the market, which only consumes 4 liters of water each time you clean your house. And I'm keeping the same cooking and drinking. I'm not changing those. So obviously you'll have 15 liters every day that's used for basic purpose. So as you can see from the previous slides to this, you automatically reduce consumption by 70%, right? So it is in our hands, obviously, and then we can take these kinds of actions to change our behavior. And for all the other purposes, car wash, gardening, and all, you could use recycled water. You could actually collect the water from some of the RO or others, and then actually use some of them for cleaning purposes too. So I actually didn't touch upon something. When we say water footprint, there is something that I want to highlight to you guys, is that there are 2 levels of water footprint. One is a direct, what we spoke just now is a direct water footprint, where everything I consume is for my purpose, and then I just let go all the reject water. Then there's an indirect. This is a very big area that the whole world is looking at in sustainability, because what is my water footprint from activities that I do outside, right? And these are, I don't know whether we have time to touch upon each one of them, but it's a very interesting space that I recommend all of you to go and research, because even taking a small cup of coffee in a disposable cup outside versus taking your own steel glass has a big impact on water, because manufacturing process of that takes up a lot of water. So as you can see, each activity has its own water footprint. A jeans pant consumes 5,000 liters of water to make, and then when we change or when we throw away or don't donate it, then it has a bigger impact too. So indirect water footprint is also something that we should consider changing our lifestyles. So let me just go into interventions. We spoke about what you can do, and I'll just quickly go through. These are basically the aerators that I was talking about. So a lot of clients we work with them holistically. We looked at their specific needs and what they currently are using water for, and then we recommended products. And we also help them get these products, and then we actually supplied some of those products to help them make the change right away, rather than waiting for a long time. So these are simple set of products that you can do in your house to change all the taps and then get water conservation. And of course, that is on the tap aerators. You can use one more thing that we have noticed is a lot of communities as well as hotels, they change their showers to hand showers. Hand showers automatically with a restrictor, and that automatically helps save water, because hand showers are not running all the time, so they shut the tap and then they use when they're actually washing. So these are restrictors. These shower restrictors can be attached to any taps, any of the shower heads, and they also help save water. They come in 4, 6, and 9 liters per minute. So typical taps that comes in the market is a 12 liters to 26 liters a minute. People, when they say eco-friendly or anything, it's like 12 to 16 liters is what we have measured. If it's not, there's only filters, it goes up to 26 liters a minute. So putting any restrictor or aerator will always help. Of course, the bucket is the best. As I said, 16 liters is a total water in a bucket, and you can use that to save a lot of water. And the quick mop, which I mentioned earlier, is a similar one that I'm showing here, available in the market. The plus point is you can use one time, half of this bucket, and then you can mop pretty much the entire house of 2,000 square footage. So you save a lot of water with that. And of course, the water, if you don't use chemicals in your mopping, you can reuse that water for your plants too. If you bio cleaners, if you're using, then you can use it for other purposes. Let me come back to one more thing we have considered is rainwater harvesting. So Bangalore is blessed with very good rains during multiple months, and we have studied this. And we get close to 877 mm of rain in a year. And we have we have been looking at every single customer and clients to tell them and individuals that the most important thing we should do is save this water, not just recharge into the water wells inside. Because when we save, it's the purest form of water that we get. And if you put filters, you can actually filter any dust and dirt particles, and then you can save that water. In fact, many of the people that we have seen in Bangalore, after filtration and going through basic set of carbon filters, they actually can consume this water. It's as pure as that. So when we were looking at this, some of the hotels like in Whitefield, we work with them to get rainwater harvesting on their terrace, from their terrace. So they save almost 3 tankers a day during these rainy seasons. And this is, just to give an example, 89,200 liters for 10,000 square footage roof space they have. And it's 100 mm rain. So we get 859 mm rain in Bangalore. So you're talking about 766,228 liters per year. That's the amount of water they're getting. So most of us have to do is look at how our pipelines are from the terrace and retrofit the same by using some of the rain filters. And then you filter that water, and you can purchase any number of storage drums. And after storing, the overflow of that drum should go into your pits, which is your rainwater pit. So that will help in terms of storing this water, filtering it, as well as you can also put this back into your sump where you consume. These are other ideas that if we don't want retrofit, like a lot of investment to rechanging the plumbing, is the easier way to do is a commercially available drums that is very low cost, but you can procure them and easily install them in any driveway, any pathway, and store water. I think these have helped a lot of communities use this water for gardening, car wash, mopping, all secondary purposes. In fact, some of them, as I mentioned, they use it for even drinking. And this will, again, help with PVC. You can have almost 2 lakh liters of water you can store and save and use. Another thing that we noticed, so there are 3 parts in a water life cycle. One is your consumption, which we touched upon earlier, how we want to reduce it. The second one is, retaining the water that's coming from the, sky, rainwater. And the third one is reuse of the water, right? So sewage treatment plants are a very critical part. Many apartments have them, but there's been a lot of mandate to fix them and all this from the government. So what we have seen is there are fundamental problems with some of the sewage treatments, that how aeration works and then convert the water into good water, right, from gray water. So we have seen one technology, MBBR, which we have actually recommended to some of people, and I recommend to all of you guys to explore, is when the sewage water, at least the secondary water like showers and kitchen and others, they can be put under MBBR media, then it helps develop bacteria on that particular media that will eliminate all the odor as well as also bad components of the sewage line, and then provides a fairly good amount of water that can be used for secondary purposes. So a lot of apartments, have adopted this now, and it can be made almost portable quality in terms of for secondary purposes, car wash and everything from the sewage lines. In fact, there are a few communities in Bangalore, they have actually put a full-fledged RO filtration for sewage lines, and they connect it back to the drinking water too. So we have seen that also happening in Bangalore. So 3 levels: 1, reduce your footprint by eliminating wherever the wastage. Second, store the water from rainwater as much as possible, and then also recharge the rainwater pits, because we have seen that when the water goes into the earth, it's not percolated right away. So a lot of water, 80% of the water just gets wasted. So storing is the best method before we percolate into the earth. And the third is reuse of the sewage lines, if not from the toilets, but at least kitchens and secondary waters, we can reuse them. So this is something I touch upon. We have been talking about sustainable goals by United Nations by 2030. So we have all these goals that is set by UN, and item number 6 is a clean water and sanitation. and that we want to achieve as much as possible. So we just have now last 10 years left in this whole system, and we all have to work towards achieving those goals. And this is a goal that's been set, goal number 6. Is ensure availability of sustainable management of water and sanitation for all, and that is item number 6. So to achieve this, whatever our usage pattern is, we all have to work to bring it down and also use natural resources such as rainwater. And that way, the entire populations can get better access to cleaner water. This statistics gives you where we are in terms of people who don't even have any amount of access to water, clean water. This is something that we do in schools. We have done in 5 plus schools now. We have also done a Zoom session with Cambridge International, where 200 plus students participated last December due to COVID. And we engage students, this is a Whitefield Global School. We engage students to interact and learn about water footprint assessment. Also, we engage them to do these kind of audit within their schools and take it back to their communities. During this program, in fact, they used flow meters, measured all areas of their school, and they were pretty much surprised that all the places where there are leakages or how much water is wasted each day by due to their activities at lunch and other stuff. So this is something that we want to create future water warriors in the community. And this is a small example of Z-Litra School. We have done a similar water warrior program. We help them save 1 lakh liters per month. And this is one example of our clients, or even, we call them all water warriors of our customers. And every time we save, we kind of add up to the 1 billion liters that we are talking about is a cumulative data, right? We don't even know exact figures or numbers because we call most of our people where we have done an impact, and they say that it's amazing how much water and tankers they're saving each month. This I would like to quickly go through what we can do. We can do audits in your apartments. If you're in apartments, you can do audits near your schools, engage people in water warrior program. Also awareness talks with friends and family, or coffee or Zoom call like this, and implementation to reduce 50%. I think that should be a target for all of us, 50%, because most of the water that we use is just for secondary purposes, and it just gets back into as a dirty water into outside rivers. This is another small example of what we have done with hostels, KLE. In fact, we have worked with all the schools and colleges and hostels because there's a lot of consumption of water. It's 7.5 lakh liters a month is what we are saving for KLE institutes. Apartments, again, major apartments consume a lot of water. We have worked with one small apartment, Srinilaya, with just 70 plus apartments, and we have been able to help them save 28 tankers a month. And the best part is that most of the implementations, it may be restrictors, aerators, or rainwater harvesting, they recover all of the money within 2 months or 3 months. And these are the best investments that every one of us can do, where it saves money plus also wonderful for environment. We also worked at office buildings, a lot of office buildings we have worked with, including HPs and others, and Capgemini and others. And also we have actually helped them save 3 lakh liters per month in those offices. Although the consumption in most of the office buildings are mostly cafeteria or bathrooms, but depending on number of employees, the consumption can go up. Hospitals, we're proud to say that we have worked with all leading hospitals in the country, Narayana, Hridayalaya, Apollo, Fortis, every one of the divisions. So the way I look at it is, water is something that's only known after the bill, end of the month, your invoice or bill comes, and people used to look at it and say, oh my goodness, this much water or this much bill. But still, the price that we pay is not the reason we should save, because in many residential, the price on a monthly bill is 400, 500 rupees, and it's not significant for most. But the amount of water that's spent for that is a significant amount, 30,000, 50,000 liters a month. So we all have to work towards how do we get our consumption down, irrespective of the total amount that we are going to recover. So in Narayana Group, we have helped in one of the hospitals. We work with all their branches, but there's only one. Is 810,000 liters a month we are helping them to save. Also, we looked at water as a concept where we want to do some social impact. And this is something we tied up with a company called Watson. Watson manufactures filters, and they do eco-friendly filters made out of clay. And those filters eliminate a lot of dirt and dust for basic consumption. So these biofilters were pretty interesting technology for us. So we have been helping a lot of housemates get water filters and eliminate impurities. And our hope is to participate in the SDG 6 by doing this so that people can get clean water. Another aspect is the training. So this is critical for most when we do these kinds of activities, is also engage the stakeholders, right? I mean, primary stakeholders are your kitchen staff, your plumbing staff, and a visual effect, right? All three areas we have to target. So I recommend whenever we involve our communities together, then please look at the real people who are going to be working in these spaces. Like it can be housemates, it can be cooking staff and all, and they have to be together in this journey, because whatever interventions we do, if they are not together, then somewhere else water gets wasted, right? So we have been working as a full circle, not only implementation but also walking them through education and visual impact, so people know the importance of water. And that's about it for my side about conservation. Again, we are based in Bangalore, and we two founders, myself and Karun Kanavi, and we both have been technology space for quite some time, but very much concerned about sustainability and environment, and we started and trying to do our best for the environment. Thank you.
Wonderful, Shashi. I think that was very crisp, if I may say, because I have known you almost for more than 5 years now. And I think what you did was probably a very, very crisp and precise snapshot of what we could do collectively in water conservation. And as probably and all the participants know, that Rotary is at the forefront of water conservation and doing a lot of work in the area of water and sanitation. In fact, we have a Rotary Action Group, WashRag, which is exclusively meant for various initiatives in water. And I'm sure there may be a lot of activities that we could do together, and we will reach out to you. On the aerator front, I think we have been doing some wonderful work in terms of distributing aerators, and one of our Rotarian, Smita, has been at the forefront of that. So probably we could also join hands and do a lot of work there.
Absolutely. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you.
There are a few questions in the chat box. If somebody else has any questions, we can still take it. We have about 10 minutes more. Shankar Rao from Canada, who has joined, he says, is there RWH for normal houses? As a Rotary Bangalore Northwest member, he has done RWH for 10 houses in his community, sensor-based water taps for houses. So is there some information on that you can?
Yes. Yes, I mean, every house, any individual house that you can do, you can implement rainwater harvesting. And one of the things that we always recommend is most of the houses, existing houses, they're built with pipes that you can retrofit to attach any size tank, depending on the total amount of roof space. And a simple filters, right? I mean, rainy filters available, which can filter out basic dust and dirt, is good enough to store that water. So only thing I would recommend is that is there a space to store an external drum, or would you want to connect it to your sump? So both options are available for regular homes. Even the smallest homes in villages, we have seen that You can retrofit a pipeline onto the terrace and roof, and then have a blue color drum that is only 1,000 rupees. And even the smallest huts can actually start collecting the water, rainwater.
Great. There is another question which says the third slide data that you shared, is it per person usage that you mentioned?
Yeah, so that is a basically, let me just go back to that. Yeah, this one, right? So this is a household, typical household consumption. It's not exactly a per person, but a typical household members, and when you flush, this is the amount of water that just gets used up. And then when we talk about this one, this is again depends on individual usage patterns. So we consider 10 minutes of brushing is like, we actually timed a lot of these activities too in a 3-member homes and a 4-member home and averaged it out. But in some cases, it may be much higher. And as I said, 747 is still a fairly reasonable number. In my communities, we are at like 440 per household. Still trying our best to reduce it to 280 or 300. But these are the numbers that we want to achieve.
Yeah, I think this is a very wonderful study that you have done, and I can tell you from my experience, I still keep having discussions with various people who still feel that shower, in bathroom uses less water than bucket. So that's something which we still have to demonstrate to people and make people realize that bucket wash or bucket bath is certainly far more water saving than the shower bath.
Absolutely. I think the key here I want to mention, the showers, in one way, we feel that the water flow is very controlled, but it is averages out over a period of time, depending on the person to person, right? And the usage pattern. There's a lot of people who run the shower for the entire duration, and the shower is at a very high mode. And we don't have a control on types of showers people are also using. So a bucket is a definitely a defined amount of water. And it also restricts you just to make sure you clean up yourself and then you're out of that, because you don't want to keep on filling the buckets multiple times. So that is a behavioral aspect that we have seen in using the bucket that helps save water.
Yeah, and as you might know, we have a road-tractor and in-tractor format at Rotary, whereby we try to induct this making a difference or serving the society concept into younger minds. And I'm sure we could take help of your company, Everything Eco, and run these kind of campaign programs through Zoom and other things during this lockdown period to make everybody sensitized with respect to all these aspects that you talked about.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll be more than happy to do that.
Right. Why recharging of borewells is not mentioned? Any specific reason that you did not touch upon that?
Yeah, good question. So I think it's a mandate today in most parts, at least in Karnataka, that recharge well is a must for most of the construction. So the recharge, the way it works is, all the rainwater that comes through, you put it back into a recharge well of 6, concrete rings, and then it percolates back into the earth. The one thing that we are trying to address is just not recharging. We are talking about store and recharge. So here, as you can see, that what we have recommended or implemented is the level 1, step 1 is store as much as water and start using that right away. Because when we do a recharge, the number one, of course, we are recharging the well, but the percolation pits sometimes have got overflowing capacity, right? Because we have seen in Bangalore, many places, when we recharge the pits, they completely fill out the entire recharge pit in 10 minutes of rain. So when it's raining for 3 hours, all of the water just goes back into the gutters. So what we have seen is we have to recharge, there's no doubt about it, but introduce one level before where we can start saving that water instead of just recharging. And if you just recharge, you are actually putting back into the borewell, but you're pulling the water again and you're using electricity, carbon footprint, everything. So my point was that we store, we use it right away, plus excessive water goes into the recharge pit. And believe me, this kind of a drum here, what we have seen, this is a Fortune Hotel where we have implemented in Whitefield. This gets filled up in like 20-25 minutes of rain. And then after that, excess water automatically goes into the recharge pits. So there's a lot of water that we can store from rainwater.
Yeah, there is also a very good suggestion that if roadside water, is if that drainage system is with underground water recharge at every 100 meters, I think that will improve the underground water level.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that is one wonderful aspect. Many people have recommended you can put, in the drainage system, you can put 6 rings, and then you can fill it with carbon and also, sands, and then you can do basic filtration and restart recharging in the whole community.
Right.
So that will help us.
Yeah. In fact, one of our president, Sumati Rao, is writing, in our building, we recharge the borewell with the extra water, so rainwater is not wasted. That's also a very simple and efficient system, I would say.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, one point which our vocational service director Dr. Radhakrishna says that in the past we had a session on energy saving by Dr. Chetan Singh Solanki, who is also called the Solar Gandhi of the country, and we created a group of Rotarians who committed reducing their power tariff by electricity bills by 50%. So we have seen many members reporting significant reduction. So it was basically demonstrating as Rotarians that this is what we could do. Can we have your help or your company's help, Everything Eco, to create a similar group? It's more like volunteering, whereby we would go ahead and reduce water usage or identify this water footprint and reduce it by 50%.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think anything we can do together to help, Rotarians and all the group members reduce their work footprint, we can definitely do a group and then share ideas, share thought process, and whatever we've learned in the last 5 years and working with many of the businesses, we can actually help and then reduce the water footprint.
Right, because there are simple techniques. For instance, Smita is highlighting, can you please talk about water efficient car wash? So this is a simple technique which you might be able to communicate to all the members and attendees here, and that could be implemented in real life.
Sure, absolutely. In terms of when we talk about car wash, there is a mist spray that we can use in a car wash. So that is actually a wonderful way. So without using any chemicals, you can actually run the mist spray, which is readily available in the market, which we use it for a lot of spraying for the plants and stuff like that. And you can use only half a liter or 1 liter of water, and you can actually wipe the entire car with a mop. So things like that really helps changing our behavior.
Great. And are you doing something on policy levels? That's another question that Usha Silvaraj is asking.
Very interesting, good question. Thank you very much, Usha. On the policy level, we haven't interacted much or changed the policies. We have actually had discussions on the government level to say, to bring out some policies wherein a new construction should always have standards for water consumption within the communities or buildings. We have been talking about it. There's been some progress with at least rainwater harvesting. There's been a lot of progress. So new constructions today are recommended to also have a concept of storing with a double taps, and then they can store the rainwater as well as also recharge. But we need to make a lot of progress in that, at least in India, to have a absolute requirement that these are installed or mandated for everyone to be water efficient.
Great. Can you elaborate on MBBR for STP and how costly is it for an apartment complex?
Yeah, good point. So basically, I want to say your STP plants have a 4-tank system or 3-tank system. So the most important part of your STP is a plant where you have aeration, which is the second or the third tank. So if that particular tank is not working properly, the entire STP functionality is gone, because the amount of air we put into the sewage line, sewage water, and the bacterial creation are the two major parts of our STP water recycle. So to ensure that there is enough bacteria that can actually consume the bad particles and then convert them into good water, the MBBR is an introduction into existing infrastructure. These are basically a medium. These are mediums called MBBR mediums. They are sterile mediums. The bacteria, when you introduce them into the water, we also recommend putting biocultures. So those two will help develop bacteria within 20 days. So they're not very expensive. You can retrofit into any of the plants, existing plants also. Depending on the plant size and the capacity, it can be like 30 to 50,000 or 70,000. But it is a one-time investment. where your plants can actually be converted back into very efficient bacterial growth and cleaner water.
Thank you. So Shashikala ma'am, you can connect with Shashidhar, and maybe I can give you the details. And if you want to connect with him and get these details done. Every building should have underwater storage and have another swamp to store used water, with getting water cleaned and to reuse, as future war we are going to have is going to be with water. I think that's a wonderful point that Mr. H.G. Parekh has talked about. I think we all have to be very conscious about water, because as he rightly says, the future war is going to be with water, and we should not really say that. And that is the reason I think I like this term water warrior that we have coined at Rotary as well, that we have water warriors in all our clubs. We have more than 160 clubs here in Rotary District 3190, and each club has a water warrior who independently takes leadership and works on the sustainable goals of water sustainability.
Great.
Great. So if there are no more questions, can I request Rajaram, can we go ahead for the next item on agenda? Thank you so much, Shashidhar. I think it was a wonderful, enlightening talk with a lot of facts and figures. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Manoj.
I would request Rotary and Shekhar Hariharan to introduce the today's chief guest.
Yeah, Shekhar?
Yeah, and I was just searching. I was just sorry about that. I was just trying to unmute myself, but I think the host had to do that. So just a minute. I'm so sorry about this. It's a great privilege and an honor to be doing the introduction of our very special chief guest, Rotarian Suresh Ambli. He has held several posts at district level in District 3190 for the last 27 years. Among the posts and positions he has held are District Director for Vocational Training and Water Resources, District Secretary, GSE Team Leaders to South of Wales, Deputy RFC in 2012 and 13. Besides these, he has also had the honor of being appointed as the cadre member directly by the Rotary Foundation for audit purposes. He's been instrumental in organizing funds through the Rotary Foundation, thereby helping change lives of many for better. He was also the recipient of the most coveted award, Celebrity Unsung Hero, in the last district conference. Lastly, Rotarian Suresh Ambli has an engineering and architectural firm called Suresh & Associate. On behalf of RBWC and all its members and the attendees today, we thank you for being a part of our session today and heartily welcome you to present our Vocational Excellence Award.
Suresh sir, over to you.
Yeah. Good evening, friends. Am I audible? Audible? Yeah. Good evening, friends. First of all, I would like to thank our friend who introduced me, Shekhar. It's a very brief and a fantastic way of introducing me. I'm really overwhelmed by your fine introduction. I would also like to thank your president, Manoj Kabre, and the occasional director, service director, Dr. P. Radhakrishnan, and all the members of the Rotary Wonderful Club of Rotary Bangalore, Whitefield Central. Friends, before I would present the pleasant task of presenting the occasional service award to Shashidhar, Mr. Shashidhar, just want to have a few words on the today's topic. Friends, the future of the Rotary entirely depends on what we, the Rotarians, do today. And to take the quote out of this, the very important one is that water, it is not being used. It is the most abused thing in the world, and we take it for granted. As said by Manoj Kabre, though I don't wish to repeat that particular word of the the wars are going to be happen between the two houses, the neighbors, and between the two places in a city, like between the two cities and between the two states, could be between the two countries. The whole world is going to be in a difficult thing if we don't act upon. And this is a wonderful way that your Rotary Club is, the Rotary Bangalore Whitefield Central is taken up. I really appreciate and commend by you. And I am in whatever way that you would like to, I would be part of it. Like, and what is the takeaway from the important takeaway from Mr. Shashidhar's talk is that he was talking about the biofilters is a very interesting thing. We must have distributed more than 10,000 filters, basically water purifiers, I call it. I don't call them as the filter as such, but then water purifiers. And it is a very novel way of executing this job, which will help. Either it could be a school away from 35 kilometers away from city. If you go out, there is no power. Absolutely, water is an essential element that is required. So these are all the things which are lagging back. And in a way, I really don't know what are the costs of these biofilters. So there you can be in touch with, and then please help us. And then we should take up as the part of a district grants or the global grants by each club, and then ensure that most of the needy gets this particular facility. I would really appreciate. Then apart from that, I think the lake rejuvenation, the bore wells recharging and rejuvenation, and the open wells. You know how many open wells Bangalore had each house, believe it or not. Way back when I came to for an engineering, to study my engineering in civil engineering, I think in each house, just in the conservancy lanes or the houses had the open wells in Bangalore city, my dear friends. I'm talking about 1975, 1980s. Each house had an open well at just at 6 feet down. The thing we used to get the water, pure water from the wells, open wells. Today, believe it or not, we need to get into 1,800 feet, 1,500 feet. And neighboring, in my very close to my house, people were, drinking the bore well for almost 4 days. I was hearing morning, evening, late in the night also. The bore well, started digging. I thought, what is this? What depths they want to achieve? Like one fine day, it may happen that you come out of the other part of the bore, that the bore well has to be dug to that extent. It used to be just not more than 60 feet, 30 feet, we used to get a water, and 60 feet, we stop it. Today, we talk about 1,200 to 1,600 feet. And where are we going ahead with this? So unless and until we take this on a war scale, it's not going to happen, and things are there. And this is the right way that this particular club has taken. And I salute each one of you, the president, and all the members of the wonderful club of this thing. Please take my help as a cadre member. I would like to help you in any of these projects. We must have done umpteen number of excellent projects on water and this thing conservation. And right now we are building up of beautiful check dams just near Pavagada, a remote part of the Karnataka where no water is available. But then we have built already 6 of them. 3 of them are going to be get ready in another 15 days, and we are going to present. And we have the international partners from Boston and Copenhagen. So friends, let us do, and what we do should really leave effect to the people, and it should make change in the world. And that is where we as Rotarians can take it up. Kindly come up and then take these initiatives. I'm really commend and appreciate this. Now, friends, I have this great pleasure on behalf of the Rotary District 3190 and the Rotary Bangalore's Whitefield Central, jointly bestow the Rotary Vocational Excellence Award to Mr. Shashidhara K, the principal scientist.
We have put it on the screen. Already it's available on the screen, sir. No problem. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Recognition for a principal scientist and advisor of Sahas in recognition of excellence achieved, in his chosen field of vocation and contributing to the good of the society. This is for Gnana Vaidya, the 2nd edition. So, friends, I have great pleasure in awarding this particular wonderful award. Shashidhar, you have done a lot of good work. I appreciate that. Be in touch with us. We are also one of the leading architects of the city, where we do a lot of works for the big industries. And I think there is a need for this thing which we always incorporate, these facilities of recharging and then reusing, not only the recharging, using of the first water and then excess water to be put on to the bore wells and then into the recharging wells and then excess getting out to the drains. So I think it's a wonderful talk that you have given. Also, professionally, you can be in touch with us and we can do some works together. I mean, that's on a mutual basis, which we can work it out. Thank you once again, Shashi, Manoj Kabre, and our District Director, Radhakrishna, and all the members of the wonderful club of Rotary Bangalore, Whitefield Central. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you very much for this wonderful award. I really appreciate all of you coming together, joining hands to save every drop of water. And this goes out to all of you as new warriors of water from today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Suresh sir. I think you have given some wonderful points and we'll be in touch with you.
Sure. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Good night.
Yeah, a formal vote of thanks by Rajaraman.
Yeah, thank you, Manoj. I would like to thank today's speaker, Mr. Shashidhara, for his excellent talk. Yesterday, I happened to talk to one of my colleagues in Taiwan. He told the entire Taiwan is going through a severe drought. Okay, they have only 10% of the water in the entire reservoirs. So soon we are going to face the shortage in all the semiconductor industries, and then all the problems will start from Taiwan. That's what he was telling. When today I see this presentation, I feel we cannot bring more rains, we cannot bring more, we cannot generate more waters and other things. So only thing is we can conserve water, and then this he clearly told us how to save the water, how to conserve the water. And thank you for your excellent presentation. I would like to thank District 3190 District Governor Rotarian Nagendra Prasad for giving us this opportunity, and Rotary District 3190 Vocational Service Team, Vocational Service Director Rotarian Radhakrishna, and the entire Vocational Service Team, and our President Rotarian Manoj Kabre, and all the RBWC members, and specifically Rotarian Smita Kulkarni for introducing today's speaker. Introducing today's speaker to the RBWC for this session. And I would like to thank Rotarian Sridhar for introducing the speaker in this meeting. And I would like to thank Rotarian Shekhar Harikaran for introducing the chief guest. And I would like to thank our chief guest, Suresh Ambli, for giving the Vocational Service Excellence Award to the speaker. I would like to thank all the guest club joined today: Rotary Bangalore Basamangudi, Rotary Bangalore Reach Out, Rotary Manchester Eco, Rotaract Farmwell, Rotary Bangalore Downtown, Rotary Bangalore RMB Central, Rotary Nasik Grape City, Rotary Bangalore Sadashiv Nagar, Rotary Riverside, Rotary Bangalore Platinum City, all the guest clubs today who made this event very successful. At one point in time, we got around close to 80 participants. This is one of the highest participant in the session too. And I would also like to thank all the Rotary friends of Rotary for joining today. And then I hope you will join Rotary, and then you can carry on all these good things, whatever we are doing in your community. Before I close the meeting, I would like to share the future events. On May 26th, we have a session on fitness in lockdown by Vanita Ashok. She is a Fit India ambassador. And on June 2nd, we have a green periods by Dr. Meenakshi Bharat. And June 9th, we have the meeting on natural cleaners by Smita Kamath. So all these meetings we scheduled in the same time in every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. I would request everybody to join the meeting and then take away all the good things and then spread in your community for the good. Thank you.
Once again, thank you everyone, and look forward to seeing you again next Wednesday, same time, 6:30 p.m. at Jnana Vaividya, 2nd edition. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.